Jam Truth and I are going to do what we've done dozens of times together on my channel before it was deleted, before it was censored, and decimate globe earth, satanic, fake science, and booga booga mathematics. An honest man, when proven to be wrong, must either admit he is wrong or he no longer remains to be an honest man. And the truth is incontrovertible. Malice and ill intent will try and attack it, and ignorance will try and deride it or derail the conversation, which we'll get to in a second. That's already happened. But the truth always stands. It is incontrovertible. I'm looking for people who have eyes to see and ears to hear, because not everyone's called to know the truth. Not everyone's called to have light in them, okay? And it's the scriptures say, you are my people, you will know the truth. You're not going to have to guess. You're not going to have to wonder like Benjamin. We can't say black and white what the shape of the earth is. That's goofy, guys. That's goofball Christianity. I'm not here to talk about flat earth philosophy. I didn't even know we were going to talk about religion in this debate. I'm here to absolutely dismantle the fake science that's being pushed in the mainstream, okay? Because people need to wake up to that. Then maybe they will figure out John 3:16 is true. Every person on the corner standing a sign that they've seen for the last 20, 30 years was right. So he says, talks about believe the earth is flat. Both my opponents in their introduction said the B word multiple times. I'm not here to talk about beliefs. I don't care about beliefs. I don't care what you believe. It's stupid. We're here to talk about science, observable, repeatable, testable, empirical, not religious beliefs. Said we can't make black and white statements about the shape of the earth. Benjamin, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be black and white stating Earth's a globe, and I'm wrong, it's not flat. And you're over here saying, well, we can't really know for sure. I mean, we can't see it or experience it, even though we walk around on it every single day and we're being told exactly what the dimensions of this realm is. And we falsified that, which, by the way, falsification is independent of replacement. So once we falsify the globe model, I don't need to have a brand new flat earth model to present to you like this is third grade science class. We falsified the globe. Falsification is independent, solo, on its own, of replacement, okay? Then you said, how can it be fixed and not hang on anything? Son, my table is fixed. You can nail it to the ground and it won't hang on anything. So in the same way that my table could be fixed and not hang on anything, Earth could be fixed and not hang on anything. But Benjamin, you got a big problem if the Earth doesn't hang on anything, because according to the heliocentric model, Earth hangs on sun's gravity.
Excuse me, the fuck did you just say?
Then you said only flat Earth explains sun movements. Yeah, we could get into analemma, how the loop in the north is smaller than the loop in the south, how the points on the analemma are not equidistant in the north as they are in the south. It's moving a lot faster in the south because as the sun's orbit goes between the tropic, it expands and contracts, therefore it has to speed up and slow down.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
By the way, velocity is not the same as spinning. Spinning includes acceleration. So even if you're going the same speed on the gravitron, when you say things like, you can't feel velocity, oh, I guarantee you'll feel the velocity on a gravitron while you're sticking to the wall, being pushed out because of centrifugal force, which is how we dry clothes. We spin the clothes and the water flies off. And you guys think the Earth spins and the water falls down? I mean, talk about complete opposite of reality. I've done astrophotography. Have you ever tested the temperature of moonlight? No. I've done it with a laser thermometer. Ken Wheeler, who's a glober, did it with a FLIR, Terminator vision, and proved that moonlight is cold. So have you ever gotten a group of land surveyors together in Denver, Colorado, and then tested to see if the Earth is actually curving for 2 days, taking measurements every quarter of a mile? Scriptures say test all things and hold fast to that which is true. And you also brought up teaching children things that are wrong. That's one of the reasons I'm so passionate, #RedPillTheYouth, about teaching children the truth. I pay children money to read my flyers get the video and put it on the internet with the permission of their parents, of course. Censorship's insane, guys. If you don't know who I am, I ran the official Flat Earth and Globe discussion for 5 years, 150,000 members. That's gone. My YouTube, Nathan Thompson, had 20,000 subs. That's gone. My Instagram, The Globe is Flat, had 10,000 followers. That's gone. I don't curse. I don't insult people. I don't post any nudity or vulgar images. And I'm the dude you got to censor. NASA goes in front of the Senate and says, I'm the dude you got to censor. Give me a break.
Way to go, Nathan. Good job. I assume neither of you have even read scripture one time from cover to cover. First of all, I am not a Christian. I am, however, a man of faith and spiritual conviction. I also have spent time before the Most High. When I say that, I mean I've had a Moses moment. I'm not afraid to say that publicly because I was called by the Most High to speak truth. The Catholic Bible? Oh, yeah, great. Excellent. I don't read the Catholic Bible, dude. The Bible's not Catholic. The Bible isn't even really, it's a twisted book by the Romans. I get it. But the actual real scripture was real, and ancient historians have proven it true. So by holding that up doesn't show anything, Snake. Again, you're ignorant.
Fire, the element by which the sun exerts its energy, and I don't care if it's nuclear fission or what, it's still fire, okay, needs what element, folks, in order to continue to burn? Oxygen.
I would encourage you to go to jmtruth.com. I am a man of science, and I'm a man of truth. I'm not a man of faith. Why? Because Scripture says, the Father said, test all things. Cling to that which is true. Did you know that the word faith does not exist in Scripture, in the ancient Scripture, even once? The word faith didn't even exist. It was created by the Greeks and is actually a Greek god. So when you use the word faith, just so you know, you're actually calling on a Nephilim spirit. So let's just cast that down right now. I am a highly educated man as well. Okay, but I also have a background in film, graphic design, and CGI. And what you showed everyone, by the way, was absolutely CGI and called it an actual film footage from a satellite that doesn't even exist. You just lied to the public. And I can prove that. I'm not going to do it right this second, but what you showed was not even real, dude. Not even real. And I'm telling you, with a master's degree in graphic design, you're lying. And I get really upset and frustrated when people lie to people. If you have not read or studied Hebrew, you should not be teaching. Because that's the problem. You go to school, you go to a Christian college, they give you all this indoctrination, and then you think you can just teach whatever you want. That's the problem. If any of you knew anything about faith, there wouldn't be 47,000 religions. You don't even know it's not healthy not to eat meat. The devil has poisoned you and is poisoning you. In order to have a healthy body, you have to have an alkalized system. That's the way the Father created us. If you go read Genesis, it says I give you all seed-bearing plants for food, not meat. In fact, all of Deuteronomy's been twisted to poison you. But of course, you believe what Christians say, but the whole medical system is built to kill you, and you don't know it. So let's get back to Flat Earth. If you go to jmtruth.com, you will see that I have 17 documents from NASA there, Snake. 17, and actually I've got more. I've done a laser test at 35.6 miles, which, by the way, is the world record on Earth for any civilian that I'm aware of. 35.6 miles at 4 feet off the ground. At 8 inches times mile squared, you do the math there, genius. Should I have been able to see the emitter in green? I have it on video, by the way. So when you want to argue it, I've got the proof for you. 35.6 miles. Can you do the math at least to tell me what the drop should be on a globe at 35.6 miles. I can. It's 844 feet. Oh, and from point A to point B, for those of you that can't do geometry, from point A to point B, there should be a 266-foot lift between point A and point B.
And that's
I should not
about
be able to see the
time.
at all, because there's a 266-foot wall in between me, the camera, and the laser.
And
Even my 13-year-old can figure that out.
All right, so to see if I've got this right, I need to understand how you guys think gravity works. Is it, do you think density creates a direction vector?
Gravity is a lie used through...
Gravity's a lie, yeah.
Through mathematical...
Yeah, it doesn't work.
It doesn't
Okay,
work.
so what do you want to call that thing that makes things fall?
It's called density and buoyancy, bud.
Makes things fall. Have you ever released a helium balloon and seen the helium balloon fall?
So if you release something from your hand, which way does it fall?
Depends on density.
No, it doesn't.
Or the medium that you're in.
Are you kidding me?
Drop a cork underwater, and it's going to go up.
Oh, why doesn't it go
there.
sideways? Why doesn't it go sideways? It's the same density.
Why doesn't it go sideways on your globe model? Because gravity's pulling all things towards each other. Things should be going horizontally towards cruise ships. You hold a grain of sand next to a cruise ship. You don't think the ginormous cruise ship, an aircraft carrier, is going to have a large enough mass to attract a grain of sand? It's your religion that things move horizontally on, not ours. Now, if you
we have our
water,
so we have our first dodge.
Are you familiar
I'm sorry,
with the
I didn't know you were trying to speak. I was in the middle of speaking. Go ahead.
So we have our first dodge now. So I asked you
Not
why.
dodging anything.
I asked you why doesn't something that has equal density all around it, why doesn't it go sideways? Why does it only go in one direction? Up or down?
You know, I don't know. I didn't make the Earth, and I don't know why things don't go laterally, but actually some things do, like water. If you pour water on the ground, it will move laterally, horizontally, and begin to flatten out. It's a property of fluid statics. That's how I know all these beautiful blue oceans are flat, and that's how I know that the Earth's not a globe. All the biggest scientists have already proven it's a globe, so he doesn't even need to debate it or defend it. What are you doing here, Snake?
Right?
If you don't need to defend it.
I'm showing you that you have no idea what you're talking about. So to clarify, I'm talking about a solid object like a rock or a ball in a medium, and you dodged the second dodge. You started talking about a medium moving sideways over something. So I'm asking you, this is the clarification, what I asked. Why does a rock, when you release it in the water, not go sideways if it's density dependent? If it goes any other direction, then there's something else there than density and buoyancy. Because it's the same in all directions. So tell me, what is that extra thing there other than density and buoyancy?
Not everything goes down. Some things go up. Gas moves in all directions. So obviously nothing is pulling mass towards the center of Earth.
May I interject just a point of thought?
Go ahead.
So I often hear this explanation for the difference between gravity and density. And then, Nathan, the exact point you brought up usually comes up. And I think the trouble that we run into here, and this is why I'm trying to come at this more theologically, Snake is holding up the empirical stuff way more than I will. But the point is, in atheism, and anyone who denounces God, they can't accept miracles and they can't accept how it works because they won't accept the necessary premise that God exists. In the same way, by openly rejecting gravity, you guys are not able to understand and see how that works. And so I just want to offer that out there as a line of thinking.
Can I respond?
Go ahead.
Okay, first, I absolutely believe in miracles. I just think miracles are science that we cannot explain. The Father does not work, in my opinion, outside of the physics he's already created. Now, I know we're taught otherwise. I get that. And I still believe in miracles. I've watched people get healed from amazing things. But once I realized the biomechanics of it and the biometrics of it, it actually makes sense. The difference is actually time. The Father just manipulates what we construct or assume is time, which there is no construct of. Okay. However, gravity again, what I've done enough by the way, if you're going to use the word empirical, please know what that word means. Let me, and I don't mean to be an ass here, but I hear that all the time. Empirical data is written data that has been proven by science. Okay, that is called empirical data. I have 17 NASA documents that are empirical data because they say NASA explains and admits Earth is flat and not rotating. Now, Snake, you can argue that till the cows come home, but you can't argue with me because you are not authorized to argue for NASA.
Oh,
So,
yeah, well, you're not either. So we all know you're lying about this. We all know that what you're doing is taking things. Lying.
They're on my website. What I'm telling you.
I would like to respond.
Can I finish, please?
Jam, I can give you 30 seconds to wrap up, Jam, and then I do have to kick it back over to Snake.
You can't. You've got to have NASA argue it. You can't. I'm not arguing it. I'm presenting to you what NASA has already admitted. But because you can't accept it, you have to argue it away.
Jam, unless there's a particular dictionary, Webster, or whatnot that you prefer to use, I'm literally pulling this off dictionary.com. Empirical just means based on, concerned with, or verifiable by observation or experience rather than theory or pure logic.
But you're missing the very last step of the scientific method, which is to present the evidence, which is what the NASA document is. That is why it is empirical data. It completes the scientific method.
So you know that NASA says that there are planets that are globes. And so what you do is you take statements like, we're using a flat plane simplification math, which that's what they teach you in physics to use because it's a simpler math. And you're cherry picking that and presenting that as that's what NASA claims. So that is a frank lie.
That is an assumption on your part.
No, it's not. It's because I've done physics.
I've actually taken physics, obvious unlike you, because you don't even know the basics.
I just told you I take physics.
Well, if you've taken the basics of physics, how do you not know what the density table is? I don't understand that.
You're going to lecture me about physics when you don't. So gravity is very important. You think that gravity doesn't exist. You think it's just density and buoyancy. So there's the same density all around this thing.
I never said that.
Hold on.
1 second.
No,
There's the same. Hold on.
Gentlemen, I promise Nathan and JM, I promise we'll come right back to you. But let's just let Snake finish up this point.
It's just
Same density around all of this. Same buoyancy forces go in every direction, and yet it doesn't behave the same in all directions. It behaves in one direction. So you are missing a part of the puzzle.
No, you are missing part of the puzzle. When was gravity created? Do you know? Because it wasn't around forever, and Einstein did not create gravity. That is actually an absolute lie taught in school. It is not true, and there's no historical basis for it. And I've got a graduate degree, so if you want to argue with me, go ahead, but you better pull up some goddamn references.
For what? Who invented gravity?
From again, coming at it from my angle, there's a difference between creating something and identifying something. And obviously we can't claim that gravity is a force because it's not defined as that. But what we have is an explanation for how the world is working. And so that is what is being claimed here. We're not being claimed that gravity was invented at this time. Again, from my angle, gravity was created at the conception of the universe. It's when did we discover it? Same with microbiology. When did we discover it? That's not when it was created. It always existed. It just took us a while to catch up.
Except you cannot acknowledge that in the Bible, actually, there's more argument, actually in Hebrew, because you don't speak Hebrew or even read Hebrew, for actually a flat Earth model than there ever is for a globe Earth.
You said go to the North Pole and then move 50 miles south or east. You never done that. And then you said flat earthers won't do it. You haven't done that. All right, which one should we do next?
Yeah, you won't do it. You won't do it because you can prove me wrong. You won't do it. You can go do it.
You haven't gone to the North Pole, and travel to the North Pole is restricted. It's
Right.
basically like asking
No,
me
it's
to go in my closet, walk into Narnia, and prove that Narnia is real.
Actually, it is.
Neither the North Pole or the South Pole are restricted.
I have the
You can
North
go visit
Pole.
them.
I have the North. I've got the
Just
North
patently doesn't know what
Pole.
he's talking about.
Yeah, this is actually ridiculous. I actually have the document.
This is
We're
real.
actually
Okay,
obtaining a permit
Nathan
for the
and
North
Jam
Pole.
Truth, you're interrupting
It is
each other.
this thick. It is this thick, and you've got to go through 20 different agencies. Now, I also spent 12 years in the military and can tell you it's built that way to keep you from being able to do so. Because I had a security clearance, and that's how it works, dude.
JM, thank you for serving. I try to say that to anyone who was in the military, so that's it. That's all I was going to say.
You're welcome.
So that was one of many ways that you can test for yourself. The other one that flat earthers will never do is go visit the sun, which apparently is a couple miles away. Nathan, you're muted, Nathan.
You're muted. Nathan, we can't hear you.
Wait,
Nathan,
did you just
we're
say
both
one other
muted.
thing flat earthers won't do? Did you just say that?
Yeah, you won't go visit
You-
the
you
sun,
tried
even
to
though it's a
talk about
couple
Lake
miles away.
Pontchartrain?
What?
Did you try to talk about Lake Pontchartrain and then say another thing flat earthers won't do and move on to a topic about the sun? Is that what you just did?
I mentioned it in my opening.
You just said another thing flat earthers won't do after talking about Lake Pontchartrain. I've been
Is
to Lake
going to the
Pontchartrain numerous
sun.
times. Have you? Hey, I don't know why you got to interrupt me. Are you scared of what I'm going to say?
Well, you're saying that I said you wouldn't go to Lake Pontchartrain, so I'm correcting you.
But he's been to Lake Pontchartrain.
You just talked about Lake Pontchartrain and then said another thing flat earthers won't do and started
No.
talking about the sun. Yeah, you
No.
just did that. The audience can go rewatch it. It's fine. No big deal. So I've been to Lake Pontchartrain numerous times. I know for a fact you probably haven't ever been there or tested it with any data you could show me, but there's flat earthers there that became flat earthers because Lake Pontchartrain should have a measurable curve over it. It's about 20 miles long, and there is no curve. I've also taken a time lapse from one side of the lake to the other side of the lake, and it's a straight line. I am not curving around a globe. Also, you can see way too far on that lake. I've done sight distance observations. I had 800 videos up on Be the Change before my channel was deleted. Like I said, the people there found out the Earth's flat because they're looking across the lake and realizing it's not curving.
So I've been there is not an argument. You have to explain why it's not curved. You haven't. And to correct you for about the fourth time, I did not say Lake Pontchartrain any time during this discussion other than now. The thing that I said you won't go do is visit the sun. So that's the correction. So there is a visible curve. I don't care how many times you say I've been there. There's a visible curve.
Hold on one second,
And,
Jam. I got to let him finish.
Sure.
Go ahead, Snake.
And the specs for building the bridge is curved.
Got this.
And yeah, and saying, "Oh, I've been there," is not an argument. You need actual data. We have pictures of it.
That wasn't my argument.
Oh, and the other thing,
Okay.
right? You didn't have an argument. Atmospheric refraction makes the curve look a little bit bigger than it is, and we can discuss why you guys don't understand refraction either. But I would like to get through why you guys don't understand gravity first. But you know, pick your poison. Well, if I
no
could,
problem. Snake, you want to talk about how you,
if I could
want to talk about
respond
the stars,
to
even though you don't know Star Trek?
something, if I could respond to what Nathan said, it's very important to ask why things don't fall laterally, because you claim that things fall because of density and buoyancy, and yet the density is the same on the sides as it is above and below. So we can prove this by the fact that there's a pressure gradient. You, I'm sure, agree with that. I think you've agreed with that before. You disagree on the cause, of course, but the fact that there is a pressure gradient proves that density and buoyancy is not what explains falling, because the fact that there's higher density air of the same composition as there is at the sea level and less dense at the tops of mountains, for example, shows that there is something else at play other than density, or else all the air would be the same density, when instead there's something pulling the air in a direction. So you're deliberately ignoring that because it destroys all of your arguments.
You're right. That's why I'm ignoring it. You're right. I'm just ignoring it because as a graduate student, that's what we do. We just ignore shit.
Yes.
Did you know that a density gradient has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth at all whatsoever? So when you say it destroys all of my arguments, you look like a bozo, bro.
Well, the fact that there's a pressure gradient shows that there is gravity, and it shows how gravity works. Excuse me. It shows how gravity works.
1 sec. We do have to give him a chance to finish. Go ahead, Snake.
It shows how gravity works, and from that, with the fact that we know gravity also pulls toward the center of mass, that explains the shape of the Earth. No, graduate level physics does not say gravity does not exist. So we need to stop with that lie.
That's not what I said either. That is not what I said.
Okay.
If you're gonna quote me right. Don't.
Well, if you need to correct me, just correct me. If I get something wrong.
Yeah, I'll correct you. You said the only reason things fall, according to me, is density and buoyancy. If it's only density and buoyancy, Snake, can you explain how quantum locking works?
Thank you.
It has nothing to do with this.
When you drop a super cooled superconductor on top of the quantum locking track, it doesn't fall, it floats in the air. Now, you said earlier, I'm talking about a solid. When you drop a solid, it falls. Now, when you drop the superconductor on the quantum locking device, it doesn't fall, it levitates, and you can actually move it laterally left and right, it'll stay there. So,
but it doesn't move on its own.
It's just density and buoyancy.
Electromagnetism. It doesn't move on its own. We know there are forces that can resist gravity. I'm not saying you can't throw things up. Okay?
So
I'm not saying you can't levitate
things
with magnets. I'm not saying you can't levitate things with magnetism. That's not part of it at all. You do have to overcome the falling force. But the other thing you don't understand is that quantum locked magnets don't just move sideways because there's less density over there. So that's what you just don't understand.
Just so you know who you're talking to, Nathan was almost a neurosurgeon.
I'm a flat earther now.
I don't care whether you're a flat earther. You need to be respectful. Part of the reason I came out of the gate swinging at you is because you're being a dick.
All right, let's bring it back to the discussion at hand.
If you think me saying you don't understand something is me being a dick, I don't. This is a debate. We're going to disagree.
All right, infrared photography. Have you ever done that, Snake?
The reason we should be able to go to the sun is because you say it's local.
Not answering questions.
I'm answering your statement.
Not even answering. Not even having a conversation.
I'm answering your statement.
I've never said the sun is local in this debate. You're literally just making shit up.
Oh, okay? So you don't believe the sun is local?
Can we get back to your arguments?
You don't believe the sun is local?
There's the belief word again, because your entire construct, your entire cosmology is based on belief. Now, real quick, I want to know, Snake, because you said multiple times.
Is the sun local?
Another thing. Oh, you want to interrupt me again? Go ahead. Let me know when you're done.
You're changing subjects at 1,000,000 miles per hour. Is the sun local or not?
No, I asked you if you've done long distance observations. You changed the subject and said, "Oh, I haven't been to the sun." Then I asked you about infrared, and you haven't answered the question and changed the subject. I actually had to get the moderator to say you're not answering questions. So now you're projecting.
Well, I can't get you to answer that question. I'm trying to stick on one subject at a time.
So all right, gentlemen, all right, we do, just because there's so much interrupting, we're going to have to kick it into 2-minute sections if it doesn't slow down. So I do want to hear from Benjamin. It's been a while.
I'm done with 2-minute sections. Okay? I need to know if Snake's tested astrophotography. I've done anything with astrophotography, ever.
We're going to give you, Snake, a chance to respond, and then we're going to go to Benjamin. All right, we're going to go to Benjamin. We're going to go to Benjamin. He hasn't. I haven't heard from you for a while, Benjamin. What have you got?
Benjamin said he doesn't know.
You are not Benjamin.
I believe without a reasonable.
All right, Nathan.
Yeah, I believe without a reasonable doubt that God exists, though I cannot empirically show someone God. In the same way, I believe beyond a reasonable doubt, based on the evidence that is out there, that the Earth is a globe. Could I be wrong? Sure. But I would need the evidence for the flat Earth to not only debunk the globe, but also to outweigh it. I will offer the only piece of empirical evidence that I can say I have, and it wasn't over the ocean, it was over a field. But I watched the sunset, and I was able to see the sun because there was so much interference that it was, you know, turning red or whatever it does. So you could actually see it, at least for a time. And when it went down, and I've heard explanations for this, kind of how the sun, you take a candle and move it behind a certain type of glass, and it looks like it's going down when it's actually getting further away. I watched the sun disappear from bottom to top. And I didn't see any size change. I didn't see any blurriness, which you do see on the candle experiment. And so that is my experience. So I guess, what would you guys have to say to that?
Well, what did you expect to disappear, sideways or from the top down? I mean, that's how it works on a flat Earth. Things disappear from the bottom first because that's where the floor is, and there's converging lines of perspective.
That's
right, but I would also expect it, just like a light moving down a hallway, I would expect it to get smaller as it gets further away.
Oh,
If
but
there-
it does.
Gentlemen, we do have to. We have to be
sometimes-
sure that Benjamin gets to finish.
It does sometimes look smaller depending on the atmosphere, just like sometimes you can stare at it and sometimes you can't. It also sometimes looks bigger. The moon does the exact same thing. And so I don't know where else I was going with that. Nathan, what did you ask? You had a question. You said something. I'm not sure what you're showing me.
Different
I can't hear you. You're muted.
I think he's saying that it
I've got
sinks
footage.
in position.
I've got
Right,
footage of the
and
sun and the moon.
Yeah, and I can pull a photo offline of the globe. So I'm saying my experience is this. My experience trumps your photos because I have that experience. So I want you to explain to me how I saw what I saw.
I recorded it on video. Now, where were you? I'm guessing somewhere near sea level, under 1,000 feet in elevation.
I actually can't answer that. I have no idea.
All right. Well, because I know the elevations when I make observations, and when I did an observation 10,000 feet above sea level in Denver, the sun and the moon appear to shrink into little dots above the horizon. The reason you didn't see the sun shrink as it was setting is because the further it gets, it's going through a medium that magnifies light. Okay, you understand that aqueous particles are in the air, and the more aqueous particles that are between you and an object, the bigger that light will appear. It's called glare.
Well, so I would say then, if that's true, are you saying it will look bigger or it won't look bigger? Because it seems like you're saying two different things with
It
that
depends on
explanation.
temperature.
I would also,
depends on the
so
temperature.
right, and so then
Depends
if
on
it
the atmosphere. It depends
depends,
on your elevation.
Wait, all right, we're
Did
gonna
you,
let's give Benjamin a chance to respond. A full minute.
did you
Hey, James, how about
you
give me a chance to talk for a minute?
JM, we're going to let Benjamin finish, and then we can give you a chance to talk.
I think the last, and this is actually a question, not a point. The last question I have for Nathan would be, knowing that atmospheric conditions can change or whatnot, did you do that test over multiple days with the camera in the exact same spot, or did you just do it once and then draw conclusions from that? And you might have, I don't know what your answer is, so.
Okay, you guys say the sun sets and that's proof we're on a globe. The sun doesn't always set and the moon don't always set. I've filmed them with a time lapse, disappearing way above the horizon and shrinking into a little dot. When I started recording the moon, I actually thought it was Venus coming in. But all right, real quick, I'd like to share screen,
Well,
James,
hang on.
if I could, because I have
you
video
dodged the
of
question. You dodged the question.
I have video of the
You
sun
dodged
getting
the question.
smaller. Now, if we
I didn't ask if you had video.
I
I
apologize,
asked, did you
Commissioner.
take multiple?
the fact that I did it once falsifies the fact that sunsets prove we're on a globe because the sun and the moon don't always set. Do you understand? I only need to do that once.
So then you cannot trust that atmospheric conditions.
Nathan, I'm not
can
sure what you're
change it if you
sharing.
only did it once.
It's definitely not. This is you're sharing the Skype window, so I'm not sure what you're trying to share.
Yeah, it's all right. It's right here. There you go. The sun shrinking and not setting below the horizon. Okay. So next question. It doesn't stay the same size always. because it is literally moving away from you. I just showed it. Do you have any more questions, Benjamin?
Yeah. So lenses and whatnot can cause a lot of different distortions. That's one reason that I know a lot of flat earthers are so skeptical about fisheye lenses and whatnot showing the earth is flat. I'm telling you what I saw with my eyes. That didn't happen. I know that. And so I'm just saying, you could have, for all I know, you doctored that. That could be a CGI video. You guys use that argument a lot. So I'm just saying, we can't just throw credibility to you because you offered a video.
You can't create a vacuum without a sealed container. That is basic elementary physics. Yet they want you to believe that there's a vacuum outside of the Earth, and the air on the Earth, which has a positive pressure of what is it, 7.14 something pounds of pressure at sea level, does not pass the the Kármán line due to gravity. The problem is gravity doesn't explain that. Physics is the only thing that explains, the second law of thermodynamics, that is, the fact that you have to have a sealed container to hold in all pressure, positive and or negative.